Okay, so picture this. You've just finished your yoga class.
Mm-hmm.
You've done the flows, the balancing poses, maybe pushed yourself a bit.
Yeah, I feel like you've really done something.
Exactly. And then the teacher says, all right, Shavasana, corpse pose.
Uh-huh.
You lie down, and maybe your mind instantly starts racing. Your to-do list, what's for dinner?
Or wondering if you can sneak out early. We've all been there.
Totally. Or maybe it just feels hard. Like lying still is the hardest part of the whole class. You might even think, this is meant to be relaxing, but it feels tougher than holding that arm balance.
It really is a common feeling. Shavasana looks so simple, just lying there, but actually doing it, especially now, it's surprisingly tough.
Right. It looks like the easiest pose, but for a lot of us, it's a challenge. So what's really happening in Shavasana, is it just permission to kind of zone out for 5 minutes?
Mm.
And why do people always say it's the most important pose? That's what we want to dig into today in this deep dive.
Yeah, we've looked at a bunch of sources, old yoga texts, new science stuff, to figure out why Shavasana isn't just some optional cool down.
It's essential, right? Like a secret weapon for your body and mind, integrating everything you just did.
Exactly. There was this one analogy that really hit home from the sources.
Oh, yeah.
They said, skipping Shavasana is like cooking this amazing, huge meal. You put in all the effort shopping, chopping, cooking.
Right, hours of work.
And then you just don't eat it. Or rather, you don't sit down and let your body digest it.
Ah, okay. So you do all the work, but you miss out on absorbing all the goodness, the actual nourishment.
Precisely. You don't get the full, deep benefits. Shavasana is that digestion phase for your yoga practice. It lets everything soak in.
Okay, let's unpack that. If it's not just chilling out, what's its main job? What's the core role here?
Well, the sources really hammered this home. Shavasana is absolutely crucial for integration. It's where all the physical stuff, the breath work, the focus you built up, it all kind of weaves together and settles into your system. It's not just stopping, it's the culmination, the completion.
And that means a pretty big shift in gears, doesn't it?
Oh, fundamentally.
Right.
It's this very deliberate move from, doing all that active effort, holding poses, focusing, to just simply beat.
Surrendering the effort.
Yeah, you let go. And in our world, which is always pushing us to do more, achieve more, fix things, just being still without an agenda. That's kind of radical and often really difficult. We spend so much time sort of simmering in that fight or flight mode.
That leads us nicely into the physical side. We've just worked our muscles, stretched things out, maybe challenged our balance. What's happening physically in Shavasana that helps integrate all that?
Okay, so this is where the really deep recovery starts to happen. Your body actually needs that time and space to process what just happened in the practice.
Right.
Lying still lets all your systems kind of recalibrate, return to their natural state. Heart rate slows down, breath gets deeper and steadier, blood pressure starts to ease off.
So like a physical sigh of relief for the whole body.
Exactly that. And muscle tension, you might not even know you're carrying both from the yoga poses. And just, life gets a chance to release.
Ah, the stuff we hold on to.
Yeah, it's a deep unwinding. It lets the deeper tissues relax, restores energy. It's your body finally getting the signal, okay, it's safe now, you can let go.
And the nervous system has got to be playing a huge part in that letting go process.
Oh, absolutely central. Shavasana is like a direct line to activating your parasympathetic nervous system. That's the body's rest and digest mode.
The opposite of that constant fight or flight buzz.
Yes, exactly. Our sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight one, is often working overtime these days with all the stress. Shavasana is dedicated time to consciously flip that switch to encourage the PNS to take over.
And that shift is key.
It's absolutely key for calming everything down. The sources point out it significantly slows your heart rate and blood pressure, reduces your body's overall need for energy, for oxygen. They even mention it helps lower stress hormones, think adrenaline, cortisol. One source actually noted that regular Shavasana, maybe just 15 minutes a day, can lead to noticeable improvements in things like high blood pressure or trouble sleeping.
Wow, that's pretty amazing for just lying still. You mentioned muscle relaxation earlier. Are there other, maybe subtler physical things going on?
Definitely. Beyond just the muscles relaxing, Shavasana encourages that deep diaphragmatic breathing, which is better for oxygen exchange.
The belly breathing.
Right. And there's also a link to the vagus nerve that's a major player in regulating heart rate and breath. Promoting relaxation helps this nerve function well, enhancing that feeling of calm. Plus, the PNS activation causes vasodilation.
Meaning the blood vessels relax?
Yeah, they widen. which lowers resistance in the bloodstream and is good for your overall cardiovascular health. It really is a full-body physiological reset.
It sounds like the body gets a serious chance to just recalibrate. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. What about the mind and emotions? Yoga is often called mind training, too. How does Shavasana fit in there?
Well, for the mind, Shavasana is this incredibly rare chance for genuine stillness. Think about it. Our minds are usually jumping all over the place, reacting to stuff, planning, worrying.
Constantly busy.
Yeah. Shavasana intentionally guides your attention inward, away from the outside world, even away from analyzing how your body feels after the poses. It's about entering a quiet, receptive state.
And what does that quiet space do for us mentally and emotionally?
Well, it helps cultivate this deep sense of mental relaxation, real tranquility. And because it's calming the nervous system and lowering those stress hormones we talked about, it directly helps ease stress and anxiety.
Makes sense.
The sources also suggest that quieting all that mental chatter can lead to better focus, more clarity, maybe even improving attention span, memory, decision-making down the line.
And what about feelings, emotions?
It provides this really important space for emotional processing. When you're still and quiet, sometimes things bubble up, right? Suppressed feelings. Shavasana gives you a safe container to just observe them without getting swept away. That helps build emotional balance, resilience. It's really the place where the mind-body connection gets solidified. The calm mind helps the body relax, and the relaxed body helps the mind calm down. It's a loop.
You mentioned some interesting brain chemistry points in the sources, too.
Yes, this part is fascinating. Beyond just lowering cortisol, some research suggests Shavasana can actually influence neurotransmitters. Like, it might help increase GABA levels.
GABA. Remind me what that does.
GABA is basically the brain's main calming neurotransmitter, like hitting the brakes on excessive brain activity. Lower GABA is often linked to anxiety disorders, so Shavasana could potentially help boost that calming signal, dialing down mental static.
So it's not just feeling calmer, there could be actual chemical shifts happening.
That's the idea. And there's also some mention of potentially influencing serotonin levels, the feel-good neurotransmitter linked to mood and well-being. And from a practice perspective, Shavasana is just a powerful mindfulness exercise.
That's so.
You're literally practicing observing whatever comes up, body sensations, breath, thoughts, without judging them, without getting hooked. That trains your attention muscle.
Is that related to interoception? Is that the right word?
Exactly. Interoception, your awareness of your internal state. By minimizing all the external noise, you turn your focus inward, noticing subtle things happening inside your body. And research links better interoception with feeling calmer, more relaxed, and having fewer symptoms of anxiety and depression.
And you mentioned cognitive benefits, too, like creativity.
Yeah, that often gets linked to changes in brain waves. So normally we're in faster beta waves, active thinking, maybe stress. Shavasana tends to guide the brain towards slower alpha waves, that's calm alertness, and sometimes even theta waves, which are associated with deep relaxation, meditation, maybe even subconscious processing.
Shifting brain states.
Right. So less beta buzz, lower cortisol, better emotional regulation. That whole environment seems to support things like creativity, memory consolidation, and clearer thinking.
Wow. It's not just physical rest, not just mental quiet, but it's actually influencing our brain chemistry and electricity.
That's pretty profound. Before we get into the how-to, there was this interesting point in the sources about Shavasana and grounding or earthing. What's the connection there?
Yeah, that was an interesting thread. It's a bit speculative, but it connects ancient experiences with some modern ideas. The source suggested it's probably not about specific geomagnetic fields, but more indirectly linked to the concept of grounding or earthing.
Grounding, like connecting with the earth.
Exactly. The theory behind grounding is that direct skin contact with the Earth's surface allows our bodies to absorb free electrons from the Earth.
Okay. And why would we want to do that? Well, the idea is these electrons help neutralize positively charged free radicals, those unstable molecules linked to inflammation and aging, and help balance our body's overall electrical charge.
Right. So how does Shavasana tie into that idea?
Well, a few ways. First, just the act of complete surrender and stillness in the pose maximizes your physical sense of being supported by the earth, your connection with gravity.
Makes sense.
Second, lying flat gives you a large surface area of contact with whatever you're on, maybe the ground itself, or a mat on the ground.
Right.
Third, you know how yoga talks about energy flow, prana? The grounding idea of balancing charge through electron absorption.
Right.
It kind of conceptually mirrors that idea of restoring energy balance. And finally, Shavasana is about being passive, receptive, letting the systems reset. That echoes the grounding idea of clearing excess electrical static by connecting to the earth.
So the ancient yogis probably weren't thinking about free electrons.
Almost certainly not, but they were deeply connected to nature. They likely discovered through sheer experience, maybe lying on the earth after practice, that it brought this deep sense of peace, reduced fatigue, felt grounding. They felt something.
They intuited a benefit from that connection.
Exactly. They felt a link between their own energy and the earth's energy, recognized the power of deep rest while physically connected to the ground.
So it's less about proven science like the nervous system effects and more about this parallel between ancient wisdom feeling a connection and a modern theory trying to explain a similar connection.
Precisely. Shavasana inherently fosters this deep body-earth connection through stillness and contact. The ancients felt the benefits, maybe touching on mechanisms modern grounding theory tries to explain with electrons rather than other less supported ideas about geomagnetic fields. It's really about that profound felt sense of being held and supported by the earth.
Fascinating how those threads might weave together. Okay, so knowing all these amazing benefits, physical, mental, maybe even electrical, why is it often so hard? And how do we actually do Shavasana effectively?
The paradox, right. Looks so easy, but it's often called one of the most advanced poses because it demands this tricky balance.
Right.
You need to be consciously aware, but also completely relaxed.
Not just falling asleep.
Exactly, that's key. You're aiming for profound stillness, but with awareness. The practice is really about noticing what comes up, physical feelings, thoughts, emotions, without judging them, without getting carried away. And when your mind wanders, as it will,
Which it definitely will.
you just gently, kindly guide your attention back inward.
So it's like an active kind of relaxation.
It is, yeah. A conscious letting go. Some key things to practice during Shavasana. You can mentally scan your body, part by part, looking for tension and consciously releasing it.
Like a body scan meditation.
Very similar. And watching your thoughts float by like clouds without latching onto them, cultivating that sense of spaciousness, and ultimately trying to connect with that deep inner stillness, that sense of peace.
Okay, practical tips. How do you set up?
Yeah, the standard setup is flat on your back. Let your legs be slightly apart, feet naturally falling outwards, arms a little away from your body, palms facing up. That helps the shoulders relax open.
Head and spine in line.
Yep. Make sure your head isn't tilted way back or chin tucked too much. Comfortable alignment. Close your eyes gently. Soften the muscles around the eyes and just let your breath be natural. No need to control it anymore.
And props are okay. Even encouraged.
Absolutely. Props are your friends in Shavasana. A thin blanket under your head if needed, a rolled blanket or bolster under your knees feels amazing for releasing the lower back, maybe even an eye pillow or a light blanket over you for warmth and a feeling of security. Comfort is key to letting go.
Good point. How long should we stay?
Well, the general guideline is often about 6 minutes for every hour of active practice. But honestly, for those really deep benefits we've talked about, the nervous system shift, the integration aiming for 10, maybe even 15 minutes is ideal. Sources suggest that real shifts often start happening around that 6-minute mark, so that's a good minimum to shoot for if you're short on time.
Okay. And you mentioned progressive relaxation.
Yeah, that's a great technique, especially if you find it hard to settle. You consciously bring awareness to different body parts in sequence, maybe toes, feet, ankles, calves, and so on up the body, and intentionally invite each part to soften and release. It gives the mind something gentle to focus on while encouraging physical relaxation.
Okay, so bringing this all home.
Shavasana is just. It's so much more than lying down at the end. It really is the vital integration phase of the whole practice. Essential for physical recovery, resetting the nervous system, finding mental calm, processing emotions, balancing energy, and even for that deeper spiritual connection.
And based on everything we've covered, skipping it means you're basically leaving some of the most profound, transformative gifts of your yoga practice behind.
Totally. Especially today, in our crazy busy, always-on world, Shavasana offers this radical, essential space. A chance to just pause, breathe, and be. It's like a healing anchor, helping us manage the chronic stress that affects us on every single level.
So here's something to maybe take away and think about. Shavasana isn't just about resting the body. It's a direct invitation to practice presence and surrender. It asks you to release control, to let go of doing, and just allow yourself to be held, to be supported. It's a powerful training ground for the art of letting go. How might embracing that simple yet often really difficult act of surrender and Shavasana start to influence how you handle letting go in the messy, unpredictable parts of your life off the yoga mat.